Why Tennessee has the best wide receiving core in the SEC and maybe even the country. We talk about that today and much more coming up on the show. What's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back to the show, man. G-Bo. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video, man. And today we're going to be talking about the wide receiver position for the Tennessee Volunteers and why it needs to be talked about more. This is going to be a great asset for this team. Now, running back wise, we know about Deshaun Bishop, right? We know about Javin Gordon. They're going to have some good freshmen coming in there. They're going to be very good at this spot. Looks like the presumptive starter for the Vols will be Faison Brandon, right? But the reason I say the receiving core is when you have a young quarterback or a new first time starter, potentially, you need guys that you can get the ball to in space and allow the quarterback to look better than what he is. Tennessee has that, right? They have about 5 or 6 guys. And the reason they have the best, as I said at the intro, the reason they have the best receiving core in the SEC is because the depth of this team, and they have a bunch of guys that can go, right? People are going to look at, oh, Texas Naj. Let's throw in Georgia, right? Oklahoma with Stegna, right? Let's throw in Florida. Florida usually has top-notch receivers. None of them can mess with what Tennessee has this upcoming year. Even Texas. When we break down Texas, Emmett Mosley, Khalid Lockett, right? Ryan Wingo, okay? Cam Coleman. It seems good. It seems real good. Texas is very top-heavy, though. Most people, when they think of those, they're not thinking of Emmett Mosley. They ain't thinking of Khalid Lockett. They're thinking of Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman, right? When you look at Tennessee and you compare and look at theirs deep, they got guys all over, right? They got Braylon Staley, who I think is the most underrated receiver in college football. Like nobody talks about that kid enough, and he had a great season for the Vols this past year and went absolutely binoculars out of the slot. You bring him back for another season. We're gonna pull up the stats here in a second so you guys can see obviously what I am talking about. Hold on, let's pull that up here real quick. Okay, like this is what Staley was able to do. Now, mind you, they already had a 1,000-yard receiver last year for the Vols, and Chris Browser, who's now in the NFL playing for the Panthers, right? Staley was the second leading receiver last year in just yards. He led Tennessee in catches last year with 68. He had 837 yards and 6 touchdowns. Yet, when we mention top wide receivers, you guys look at top 10s nationally on 3, CBS, ESPN. He's not even on the list. How? When he's had better seasons than some of those guys that are on the list. Braylon Staley is one of those ones and one of those guys that we should be talking more about in Vol Nation. Let's be honest here. Okay, so you got him. You also have Mike Matthews, who had a pretty good season last year, 53 catches, 813 yards, and 4 touchdowns, right? He was explosive. He made a number of big plays. He came up big in those shootouts, right? Mike Matthews is another, right? They also have Rodarius Jackson, who's another really good player for them. Had an okay season last year, 9 catches for 90 yards, but he's going to have a bigger role this year, right? We also can't forget about Travis Smith Jr., right? The true freshman last year played a little bit, didn't get a lot of time. He should have a bigger role this year and emerge as another wide receiver alongside the two I mentioned before with Darius Jackson, right? Travis Smith Jr. is huge, y'all. 6'3", 6'4", big body, strong catch radius, difference maker in the open field. Like Travis Smith Jr. is one of those ones too. Okay. Then they also got the true freshman TK Keys, right? Tristan Keys, who's a 5-star. Now, most people was like, well, Naj, TK, he was hurt. He didn't look good in the spring. He was dealing with an injury. He was dealing with an injury. So, of course, he didn't look the best, of course, right? But you look from top to bottom, that's like 5 different receivers I've mentioned that's gonna like play a key role this year, in addition to the tight ends like Ethan Davis and several others. Like this team is loaded and they got guys all over the field that's going to be willing to contribute and contribute at a high level, right? So when you look at the stats, you look at the guys coming up, you look at the star power, the talent, this room is deep. And I think these guys are going to help make this quarterback look even better. Should be Faison Brandon, in my humble opinion. But they're going to make him look 10 times better with just the spectacular grabs they're going to be able to do, being able to break tackles like Staley and Mike Matthews in the open field. And guys that's going to have experience in this room and depth right? They can rotate literally like 4 or 5 deep if they wanted to, right? Tennessee is loaded when it comes to wide receiver. And you compare it to other guys, like Georgia has talent, right? You think about, CJ Wiley, Taylor, right? Sokovie White, Helton, right? They're very talented. Thomas Blackshear is another one, right? Isaiah Canyon, but young, right? Young. Like the one that has the most experience is Kane of that group. I know they're gonna have Caden Prothro as well. He'll be a true freshman to watch. Okay, sure. But very young and unproven. Okay, Kentucky, no. Florida, yeah. Florida with Dallas Roberts, they usually got some good players. New scheme, new system with head coach John Summerall. Will they be the same type of a group? Can't really answer that. Ole Miss could make an argument. Hilton Deuce Alexander, right? But they lost some other guys on the outside as well. You know what I'm saying? So Ole Miss, let's go look different. You could throw Missouri. Missouri could be thrown in there, right? But top end guy, I don't really know. Vanderbilt, not really known for wide receivers. Not really known for wide receivers. Okay, so when you look up and down the SEC, there ain't too many teams that can match them. The one that can match maybe toe for toe is Texas, right? And even they come up a little bit short. Now you can throw in Texas A&M too. I didn't mention them. Mario Craver, they got this true freshman everybody's talking about, Aaron Gregory, who's supposed to have a big role this year. Texas A&M could be one sneaky one that nobody's talking about that could be potentially dangerous this year. But outside of maybe those three, and throw in Georgia with the young, unproven talent, there ain't too many teams in the conference that can match what Tennessee has. South Carolina is very top heavy with Nick Harbor. There's still question marks outside of him, right? There ain't too many teams that's going to be able to match what Tennessee's going to be able to do. The formations they're going to be able to run, the schemes they're going to be able to do in this Josh Heupel offense is going to be a problem for different SEC defenses and defenses across the country, in my humble opinion. So that reason, I'm going to say this is the best one in the SEC, even over Texas, which is very top heavy, right? Tennessee has the best one. Nobody matches it to me, and I think they're gonna probably have the best one in the country. Everybody gonna look at it like, why did that true freshman quarterback Faison Brennan have so much success? And it's gonna be like, whoa, look at the weapons and receivers that he had this past year. Look at who he was throwing the ball to, right? They had two 800-yard receivers last year. I think easily Tennessee can have two. I think they can have four 650-yard receivers this season, and probably a couple 1,000-yard guys. All that is plausible. The quarterback just has to make sure he doesn't turn over the ball, make sure he puts it in a spot where they can catch it, and just allow them to work. Allow them to do what they do. Because in the open field, any of these guys ain't going down off the first lip. They ain't going down off the first, tackle. So I think for Tennessee, the key, we know defense has to be much better this year. But Jim knows is the new defensive coordinator for them coming over from Penn State. But I think offensively, what will carry them is the wide receivers, right? They should be making Ryan Staub, Faison Brandon, George McIntyre. They should be making them boys look good, and I think they will this year for them. They're talented, they're smart, coachable, and they all are playing with a different level edge because some of these guys are not even mentioned in the top wide receiver category or conversations in national media, which is crazy because you go look up other lists, like there ain't too many receivers. You see 2 or 3 receivers with 800 yards and they combined for over 10 plus touchdowns last season. You ain't gonna see that. And they also had a 1,000-yard receiver. I know he's gone now, but you ain't gonna see that too much. So we gotta put respect on their name. We gotta give credit where credit is due, and Tennessee definitely deserves that. And I think they're gonna shock a lot of people this year, man, with what they're gonna be able to do. You know what I'm saying? With this wide receiving core, with this offense, you think it's not gonna be as good, but they're gonna be humming at a high level. It might not be the first game, might not be the second game, but you give a little bit of time. This offense is gonna be exactly what you want, right? And you're just gonna have to allow your guy to grow up, whether that's McIntyre or that's Faison Brandon. They're just gonna have to grow up. But you got the pieces in place for them to grow up. Now they just gotta go execute. Now they just gotta go put that in place. That's gonna be the key, man. But if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm excited about this wide receiving core and what it's gonna be able to do and complement this running game and be able to take over and punish other SEC defenses, man, in my humble opinion. So they're there first, man. Tennessee wide receiving core, best in the nation. I think the best definitely in the SEC. Heard it here first. There ain't too many mo in the country that can match what them boys finna have. You can throw in Ohio State if you want to throw in Ohio State with Chris Henry Jr. and Jeremiah Smith. Chris Henry Jr. still is not proven, but they can't match the depth that Tennessee has. No, sir. But as always, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. How about the video? You know what I'm saying? Tennessee fans, make sure you guys follow. If you guys want to get at me, I'm at Najee Wook on all platforms. And y'all can send me a DM any content you guys want to see, videos. I'd love to continue to produce it for y'all, man. But I'll see you guys next time. And always remember, it's peace and love.